Chapter 28 Goodbye, EPS Perspective. After we had agreed to discuss the events of what happened over the course of 9 years and we got the Godworld gates back up, Quintheria, Juaria, Hyena, Mom, Dad, Jazz, Kelly, and I went down to Kar to meet Karo at Katicy Mart. We saw King and Karo kneeling next to Kim, who was laying on the floor. They were attempting to stop the bleeding, but the wounds were too severe and she wasn't healing fast enough. I kneeled down next to her. She looked at me weakly. You guys did it. I'm glad. Juaria kneeled down next to me in tears. Why did you stay behind? Juaria asked. Kim took a deep breath. To buy EPS some time. She took another deep breath. The portal was closing. Epia had to go through. She's stronger than me. She appeared to be gasping for air. King stood up. I watched him storm over to Quintheria, grabbing her shoulders.
Heal her.
I can't, she muttered.
Can't or won't?
He snapped. Her lifeline is fading. It's her time, she said in a shaky voice.
Then bring her back after she dies. Do something!
King yelled. If I do, she won't be the same, and those volcanoes might come back. A body cannot live after the lifeline is faded. It's unnatural, Quintheria explained.
How heartless could you possibly be that you won't save your own sister?
He screamed. Do you think I don't want to? She yelled, breaking down in tears. This was the first time I'd ever seen her cry. King, Kim said weakly. It's okay. He kneeled back down next to her. She grabbed his hand. I accept it. You need to as well. She kissed his hand. I will always love you. She looked around the room at everyone. I love all of you. We watched her put her head down and take her last breath. A white light showed up around her arm, then broke. I glanced at Hyena to see the same thing happen to him. I looked back at Kim and slowly reached towards her face and closed her eyes. I looked around to see Mom and Dad hugging, both in tears. Same went for Quintheria and Hyena. Jazz was kneeling down, hugging Kelly. Kelly was crying on Jazz's shoulder. I noticed Juaria bawling her eyes out next to me. I hugged her. A part of me was blaming myself for this. She died because she wanted to buy me time. I noticed Karo kneel down and hug King. Karo wasn't crying, but it was clear that he was fighting tears. I looked back down at Kim. Glad you got to show your true colors before you passed. I love you. Mom and the Syara team brought Kim's body to the mortuary of the Godworld. We were planning to have a funeral for her at the border of the Godworld and the Land of Immortals at a later date. King had decided to return to the Land of Immortals. He needed his time alone. Jazz and Kelly were talking to Christopher in the parking lot of Katicy Mart. Dad had pulled Karo and I aside to speak to us. He was pacing back and forth in front of us. Eventually, he stopped in front of me.
Epia, I wish to tell you that I'm a little more in the loop than you think. After Kelly was born, I asked your younger siblings about everything they knew about you and Jasmine. After they explained everything, I knew exactly what Juaria had done. She had said she would look after Kelly to please the gods, but at one point she asked you to be her true overseer. Until everything gets sorted out, you have temporary full guardianship of Kelly.
He sighed.
I know you probably have strong feelings against your mother, but I'm going to suggest talking to her.
He looked at Karo.
That means both of you. She loves both of you, I'm sure of it.
He put his hands on Karo's shoulders.
You protected a bunch of mortals that were trapped in the city and came to the Godworld to help. You ended up protecting my granddaughter. There's good in you. If you want, you are welcome to visit your mother in the Godworld whenever you want. You can even come talk to me. You may not be my biological son, but you are my wife's son. That makes me your stepfather. If you're willing to give your mother a chance, I'm willing to give you a chance.
Dad, I interrupted. Jazz healed Karo's shape-shifting ability. I think she did more than that. She awoke the rest of his powers. Jazz confirmed. He's the god of change. Dad nodded.
We can also train you to use your new powers as you discover them.
Karo shuffled nervously, staring at the ground.
Even if I do talk to my mom, I wouldn't know what to say. Being in the god world would feel out of place.
Dad removed his hands from Karo's shoulders and lifted his chin.
You're welcome in the god world whenever you like, as long as you behave.
Karo smiled.
Thank you, King Tiagon.
Epilogue, Lypye's perspective. I stared at Mom, who was in tears. I shouldn't have lied to you. I should have told everyone that Karo was mine. I was just so scared of what your father would say. So stupid. I'm sorry. I stood up and set Kelly on the chair. I walked around the desk to her and crossed my arms. I don't forgive you, nor will I ever forget. I grabbed her arms and pulled her to her feet, then hugged her. But I'm willing to try and form a mother-daughter relationship with you going forward. Mom hugged me back tightly. I love you so much. I let go of her and looked over at Pantheria. She was smiling at us. Mom walked around the desk and looked at Pantheria. If you wish, I could help you in the Life Tower at some point. I know, as the goddess of life, you see some pretty terrible things, and have had to make some extremely tough calls. You shouldn't have to deal with that alone. I'm sorry I haven't been there for you and your siblings. I wish I had more time with Kim. She took a shaky breath. I can't make that mistake again. Pantheria had her arms crossed and was staring at the ground. I think there should be days where all of us hang out together. That includes Karo. Karo most likely believes that you feel ashamed of being his mother. He, Lypye, and Hyena especially feel neglected. I've always been distant anyway. Juaria feels suffocated by you, and it's causing her to snap. I'm going to suggest possibly letting her be herself without her fearing that she'll mess up. Now, I know there's a lot of us, but try to make time for all of us. We all love you, but right now, none of us want to be near you. Prove to us that you want to change that. Mom nodded. You've made some great points. All of you have today. Lypye, Pantheria, I want to improve as your mother. Pass this message to the rest of your siblings. If I am doing something that you feel is wrong, bring it up with me and we'll discuss it. She turned to Michelle. I'm glad you could join us today. I needed some of your perspective. You've grown and matured. I think you and Agent I are fantastic leaders. Juaria, Pantheria, Hyena, and Lypye made the right call by keeping all of you. Michelle smiled. Thank you. Mom walked over and kneeled down in front of Kelly. You are one brave little girl. You're like both of your parents. You're also extremely smart for your age. Just like God's, your brain developed fast so you could use your powers responsibly. She took a deep breath. I will have Hyena and Tiagon work with you on developing and controlling your powers. There's a complication with you knowing you're a demigod. The gods are afraid of you. The deal was that you could live if you didn't know you were a demigod until you were in your teenage to adult years. It's why you never knew your dad was your dad when he came and visited you. I found out about the Syara team's plan to allow your father to visit you as long as he was in his disguise form. Raphael, Kelly whispered. Mom smiled. The gods. It will take time for them to trust you, but you're smart and sweet. Kelly giggled. Mom stood up and turned to Jazz. Which brings me to you. Jazz had her arms crossed and appeared to be staring at the bottom of the desk. There was a clear look of guilt in her eyes. I'm sorry. For what? Mom asked curiously. Everything, but especially Kim's death. It was my fault, not Lypye's, she told me. Jazz, I tried. No! She snapped. I opened the portal. I thought I was doing something right, and now I have to live with the guilt of getting Kim killed. I stared at Mom, who was staring at Jazz, shocked. She took a deep breath. Jasmine, as much as you or anyone think I should, I don't blame you for my daughter's death. If the portal was open and she stayed behind, she might be alive. Even with the portal open, her death was preventable. She chose to go. She chose to fight. She did the right thing as an older sister and sacrificed herself to save her younger sister. And she made peace and accepted her fate. Jazz looked up at her. Thanks. We still have an issue, though. You're a supermodel that is loose, Mom continued. Mom, wait, I tried. Mom raised her hand to silence me. However, you did fix your mistake and help close the portal. I'm willing to offer you a deal. Jazz stood up and leaned on the desk. What kind of deal? We have a room that will neutralize all powers. We will have you stay there. You will work one-on-one with a god and learn to master their abilities. Your daughter will not be in your custody for the time being, but you will get a couple supervised hours in the God World's recreation room every night, being transported with the neutralizing cuffs on. Only once you prove that you can control your powers and are trustworthy enough to integrate back into society, you will regain your custody and go free. Jazz stared at her in shock. No, that's not fair. I've learned my lesson. No, Mom shouted. You learned that your kind is better locked in that portal. Have you really dropped the mentality that you're better than everyone? That you're untouchable? Do you really know every power you have and how to control them? Do you know the risks of certain powers? You don't know how to use the power of flight without combining it with another power. You didn't know the danger of using Lypye's powers on a mortal and nearly killed Michelle. Do you not realize that if Nicholas had not been Karo, you would have killed him? Mom got in Jazz's face. And trust me, using a spell to transfer you inside of the portal with the other super immortals is a piece of cake. Jazz, I grabbed her wrist and pulled her aside. Mom is keeping you out because you helped save us. She could always lock you in the portal, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but she makes a valid point. I've been alive way longer than you and don't know the dangers of every god power. Right now, this deal is your best option. Jazz started crying into her hands. Fine, I'll take the deal. Until that point, Lypye and Hyena will have shared guardianship of Kelly, Mom concluded. Kelly jumped out of her chair and hugged Jazz tightly. Jazz picked her up and hugged her tightly. I'll do this for you. You can do this, Kelly whispered. Jazz kissed Kelly's forehead, then handed her to me. Theory walked over to Jazz and put the handcuffs on her. We went to walk out of the room, but Mom stopped us. Wait! We all turned to face her. Lypye, come here. I set Kelly down, then walked back over to Mom. Hold out your arm. I stared at her, confused, as I held out my arm. She grabbed my left elbow with her left hand and connected our forearm. Lypye, Briar, Syara, I fully reinstate your god status. From here on out, you will be able to enter and exit the god world without the permission of another god. A white string started at Mom's left pointer finger. It wrapped around our arms until it hit my left pointer finger. Instead of tightening around our arm, it disconnected from our fingers, then unraveled, floating in the air. The string began combining into a glowing white ball. Instinctively, I held out my right hand and the ball landed in my palm. The ball turned into a glowing white key. I let go of my mom and started crying, stuffing the key into my pocket. I lunged forward and hugged my mom tightly. Thank you! Mom hugged me back. You've certainly earned it. We stayed like that for a while until I heard Queen say, Mom? Softly. We let go of each other and turned to face her. She smiled. There's someone here to see you. She stepped aside and let Karo pass her. He walked up to her nervously.
Here.
He handed her a stuffed bear. Kim's stuffed bear.
It's something to remember her by.
She stared at the bear and gave a nervous laugh through tears. She set the bear down on the desk and hugged Karo tightly. To my surprise, Karo hugged her back. Queen tapped my shoulder. I looked at her and she motioned for me to follow her out of the room. She grabbed Jazz's arm. I picked up Kelly. We silently left and met Michelle in the hallway. I'm glad he decided to talk to her, Jazz mumbled. Queen started walking with Jazz. Queen, wait! I shouted. She turned to face me. Hey, if Juaria's offer for me to officially join the Syara team is still on the table, tell her that I'm in. She smirked at me and nodded.